Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah walhamdulillah. Assalatu wassalamu ala ashrafi rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain amma ba'd. Welcome back to another episode on the biography of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the last episode, we talked about the significance and the history of the name Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also the blessings that Halima radiallahu anha experienced soon after taking up the baby from the mother Amina radiallahu anha. And let's continue the narration of Halima radiallahu anha. She says, we travel back to our clan Banu Sa'd and the baby entered the hut. The arrival of the baby brought blessings to all. The entire situation of the village itself has now changed. The land which was once barren has now turned completely green. There was abundant grazing for our animals, and their udders were always full. Even when the neighboring animals stopped giving milk, our animals gave plenty. Looking at the neighbors got amazed, and they would say, let's graze our animals where Halima's animals are grazing. But I knew that that's not the only reason why our animals were always full. She continues, she says, I nursed the baby until he was 2 years old. Even at that time, the growth of the boy was extraordinary, and it was time to return him back to his mother. And I could not bear the thought of parting with the boy. I thought perhaps I could convince Amina once more. And at that time, a plague broken out in Mecca. And because of our insistence and the plague, Amina radiallahu anha let us stay the boy with us for a little more longer, and we returned back to our home with immense joy. Our little daughter Shaima was really comfortable around the newborn baby Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she used to sing for him and carry him around. Months passed peacefully. One day, the two children were playing on the grass next to the house of Halima radiallahu anha, and suddenly the little Shaima came running, and she was shivering as he spoke. She was trying to say, our little brother. Two people came in white dress and they took him away. They laid him down and they opened his chest and put the hands inside. Halima radiallahu anha says, me and my husband got worried, and she says, we rushed to find the baby, and when we found him, we saw everything was normal except that there was a change in the facial expression of the baby. I asked him, what happened to you, my dear boy? And he said, two people came to me and they were dressed in white. They laid me down, opened my chest and took something out of it, and I don't know what it was. Halima radiallahu anha says, there was no cuts or wound or blood on the body. And we looked around, we could not see anyone around. But when we looked carefully, we found something amazing. There was a mark on his shoulder. That mark was nothing but the seal of prophethood, also known as Khatam al-Nubuwah in Arabic language. It resembled the shape of a pigeon's egg, and it was a small lump of flesh on the shoulder of Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which was there since the birth. After the event of chest opening, it just got prominence as it started growing the attention of the people towards it. As mentioned in the hadith, it had a delicate cover of hairs on it. This incident left Halima and her husband started thinking, and they started feeling worrisome. They decided to immediately go to Makkah and tell everything to Mother Amina radiallahu anha. And in that time, a new fear came up. The people of scriptures have identified the baby with the seal of prophethood. They realize that this baby is going to be the future prophet. The Jews especially, they already started considering the baby with hostility. Halima radiallahu anha reached Makkah and approached Amina radiallahu anha. Though Halima radiallahu anha intended to keep the matter simple and they summarized, Amina radiallahu anha asked for more details, and Halima radiallahu anha explained everything that happened. After listening to everything, Halima radiallahu anha was surprised at the reaction of Amina radiallahu anha, as the mother Amina radiallahu anha did not show any sign of worry. Instead, she consoled and comforted Halima radiallahu anha, saying, "Great honors are waiting for my son." Relieved by the reaction of mother Amina radiallahu anha, Halima thought she could now go back to her house with the boy. But this time, Amina radiallahu anha denied it. Amina radiallahu anha bid heartfelt farewell to Halima radiallahu anha and wished all the best their journey back to Banu Sa'd. And Halima radiallahu anha started her journey back to Banu Sa'd. That's how the life of Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam started, under the love and care of his beloved mother Amina radiallahu anha. He was loved by everyone in the family. There were other children of the same age in the house, including Hamza and Sophia, who were the children of Abdul Muttalib. The strong between these three were very strong, and thus a sweet 3 years passed by. Now, Abdul Muttalib had a special seat near Kaaba, and no one, including children, were allowed to sit on it. But the little Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam always had the permission to sit on it. And when the prominent people questioned this consideration towards baby Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he would say, "I see many wonders in this child." And that's how the life moved on. Even when the other children were around, Abdul Muttalib would not start eating until he sees the baby Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When he was 6, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the mother Amina radiallahu anha had a plan to go to Yathrib, which is now known as Medina, to visit her relatives. So she, with her boy and the caretaker Ayman, they set off a caravan to Medina, and they traveled in 2 camels. And they reached Medina in a couple of days. They spent some days with their families and relatives, and then she also visited the graveyard of her beloved husband Abdullah radiallahu anh, and then they started their journey back to Mecca. And Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would later recall the beautiful memories of their stay in Yathrib, with the flying of kites with other children and swimming in the pools of Khazraj. And that's where we take a pause for now, and we'll explore more about the return journey of Amina radiallahu anha back to Makkah, inshallah. Until then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.